Greetings everyone and welcome back to Gladiabots for the second time. Unfortunately, I failed to hit the recording button. I would love to blame it on technical difficulties, but I strongly suspect that the problem was on this side of the organic slash mechanic divide, this side being generally gesturing at me. So yeah, I think I just failed to hit the record button. Don't worry though, we didn't do much. I simply checked to see if my current AI would be able to win the first level on chapter 2, and by the tick mark you can already tell that we can. But this highlighted a couple of things, and actually the first thing I wanted to talk about is that notice that these bots are all attacking just straight up. They're not trying to go for resources, and that is something that a lot of people in the comments had suggested that I do. However, there is a reason why you wouldn't want to do that, and that is this timer right up at the top. If that counts down, then the game goes to points. And so even if all you did was score a single point, then that will avoid you losing to an enemy that just grabbed a single point while generally trying to advance towards you. So having a gatherer AI that does try to gather when it hasn't got more pressing combat concerns to deal with is probably a way of avoiding any sudden defeats, or rather not sudden at all, 5-minute defeats where you might have otherwise won in a war of attrition, but because it came down to a timed victory, you lost due to the enemy just grabbing 1 point. And in many cases, we've seen the enemy just grab a single point without too much problems. But there's a lot of stuff that our AI is doing that's, well, quite subpar. Let's put it like that. So in this episode, we're going to be changing all of that up. Go ahead, you can drop those off. There we go. We have acquired a victory. Right. Let's go back. Now, this episode is going to be a bit of refactoring, and of course, at the end, then we'll test out our AI. Currently, we've got the super campy, super simple, and super sneaky AI, as well as a bunch of sub-AIs. I think we're going to be able to make something a little bit better. I'm not completely satisfied with having separate AIs controlling all of my bots based on their class and giving like the sniper bot a sniper AI, so on and so forth. I think that opens us up to a potential weakness. Now, what are we going to call this AI to start with? We've got a super simple, you know what, yeah, super serious AI. There we go. We're going to try from this point onwards. You know we're getting serious once the One Punch Man references come out. But one of the things that I'm the most concerned about is if we start building up separate AIs that we assign to each bot individually at the start, then eventually you're going to end up with a bot that has more of a leadership role. It's just inevitable in team tactics. Once we do that, if that one bot dies, the team loses its leader. However, if you had a generic AI that perhaps tagged one of its bots at the beginning, it just checked, is anyone else tagged? No? Okay, then I'm going to be tagged. I'm going to tag myself as the leader. You know, well done. You took the initiative. If that one dies, then the AI can fall back on tagging and it's the next available one as the leader. So the leader just keeps moving on. It's kind of Jurassic Parky, nature finds a way. We've clearly hybridized these AIs with certain amphibian DNA, and they switched sexes depending on the need. Right. So first and foremost, we're going to create for ourselves a flight AI. So, am I being attacked by an enemy? If yes, then we need to evaluate whether we need to flee or not. I know Sir Robin was so good, but let's try and build this one without any sub-AIs to begin with. We have 3 different classes that we need to care about. 3 different groups. So, you've got the shotgunner, very low health, the machine gunner, very high health, and finally, everything else, which is the assault and the sniper. We actually could be specific about that, and I guess for legibility of our AI, we can go ahead and do that. There we are. Or sniper class. That is fine. Perfect. Right, now, the shotgunner. How is this one going to differ from these? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to say that the shotgunner, if you are being targeted by 2 enemies, if that is even happening, currently attacking me, and there are 2 or more, then I want you to leave. You shouldn't be there. If you're not being attacked by 2 enemies, then is your shield low? And we're going to say For a shotgunner, your shield is anything below 75%. If that is the case, then I want you to flee. Now, how are we going to manage the flight AI? We'll have a think of that in a moment. Let's just slide you across so I've got plenty of room. For both of these, I'm going to say it's going to hold true that if you're being attacked by more than 3 enemies, attacking you 3 enemies or more, that's when you need to start considering bailing. Whereas the shotgunner gets out of there if it's just 2. That's a special clause because the shotgunner is weak. But for the machine gunner, it's going to be a case of, is the shield 25%? Because the machine gunner is particularly capable as far as tankiness goes. And finally, if it is up to 50% shield, that's when the assault or the sniper will try to bail. So that's a nice and simple AI there. No, we'll keep that around there. I could additionally add in some criteria to see if maybe we've got more health than the enemy, if we're going to outlast them. We already know that our shield is low. Well then, are there enemies who are attacking me who are higher health or shield combined? So if an enemy exists that has a higher health shield combo that is attacking me, and likewise I'm going to say that is true for this AI as well. So there we go, and they can join up over there. So if all of that is true, so we know at most it's 1 or 2 enemies here. If there exists an enemy who is attacking me that has got higher health than me, then, you know, we're going to flee. But if the enemy exists that is got lower or the same, who is attacking me, but there are 2 or more of them. So in this case, if it's a single enemy who has got equal or lower health, then we'll just stay and fight. But if there are 2 of them who have both got equal or lower health, then we will still consider that a flight condition. Because they're still going to be able to lay down quite a lot of damage on us. Because we already know they're not trying to flee because they're attacking us. So we've got our conditions set. With that, in fact, let's move you down so you make a little bit more sense down here. There we go. Nice. Okay, so we've got an idea that we now need to flee. We've got a fair bit of conditional statements in here. If we're a shotgunner and we're being attacked by 2 or more enemies, or our shield has taken damage below 75%, flee. Alternatively, are there 3 enemies attacking us? Because at that point, just flee. So we know at this point it's either a machine gunner or an assault or a sniper. But in any case, if they're being all piled on by 3 enemies, just leave. If that isn't the case, then if we're a machine gunner and our shield has dropped to 25%, and we're fighting 2 people who are both weaker than us currently, so they're in a pretty dire state. If our shield is like at 25% or below, and they're already worse off than us. But if there are 2 of them attacking us, flee. Alternatively, if there's anyone who's got higher health than us, flee. And much the same for the assault or the sniper over here. And in fact, let's have these cross over. So in this case, they'll both select exactly the same setup. It's just the only thing that'll be different is this one will also flee on medium. In fact, we can kind of tidy this up a little bit and actually make it look a little nicer, really, by doing that, if we particularly wanted to. Starts looking like you're doing some sort of cordage puzzle with your fingers at this point, like you're making a 5-bar gate or something like that, but I think it's fine. Right, so if we're fleeing, then the first thing I want to do, drop any resource we're carrying because we will be fleeing slower, though that is a condition of being an assault. Ooh, actually, okay. Let's have a condition first. If condition, we are carrying something. Yeah, let's check this out. And doesn't exist an ally base at short range. And not at short range from closest ally base. Then drop your resource. Even if we're at short range, I kind of want to drop it if we're not an assault. So what we'll do is we'll create a separate condition. So I do want to specifically isolate whether we're carrying a resource at all. And now, are we an assault? Becomes important. Sorry, a machine gunner becomes important because it's the only one that doesn't slow down when it's carrying a resource because it's already slow. If it is a machine gunner, then I want to first check to see whether it's at short range from an allied base. There we are. So in this case, if we're carrying a resource, then first, are we a machine gunner class? If we are, and we're not within easy distance of a resource, then don't drop it. The problem is, if we go down there and that cancels, then it'll pop down here. So I guess we're going to need a conditional statement here that just checks, are we not a machine gunner? Ah, well, if we're doing that, then this becomes superfluous. We could do this. So this check now becomes, if I'm not close to an ally base, so that would be true for, it doesn't matter what class you are. If you're not within close range of an allied base, drop it. But assuming that we are, then this will be false. So we'll check this one next. Am I not a machine gunner class? If I'm not a machine gunner, just drop the resource and leg it. But if we are a machine gunner and we're that close anyway, may as well try and get the score. Otherwise, we will flee from any enemies that are attacking us. There we go. So that's been a bit of an update. Attacking me. And we'll just try and flee from them. Flee from the closest enemies. Or actually, no, flee from all enemies that are currently attacking us. There we go. Now, we're not accounting for the possibility of snipers attacking us, which is a bit of a problem. So just keep bailing until they stop targeting us. So that'll be nice and simple. Right, we could do all sorts of other things, like check if there are any allies nearby, and if there are, then we could try and juggle. Like if they had better shields than us, then we could try and withdraw so that the target would shift to the better ally, so on, so forth. But that's fine for our flight routine, so we'll just move that to the side. That's sorted for now. So the next thing we want to do, let's go for... let's just set up a condition. We'll consider the gathering aspect. So if an enemy at short, medium, or long range does not exist, then we can consider trying to grab some resources. But we're going to change this up a little bit. So first, we are going to want to check for... Actually, try and drop off the resource to... Score a resource to the closest allied base. Nice and simple, that one. Alternatively, we'll just make this one a little bit better than it usually is. The closest resource that is... Let's see. Not the focus of an ally. We could set up a couple so that it'll grab them based on their proximity to an allied base. Seems reasonable, honestly. Sure. Okay, let's grab you. In fact, we're going to want a connector here because there's going to be 3 different... Well, actually 4 different types, I suppose. So Let's get that down there. I would like to copy, paste. Actually, we're going to need 4 because we do want to account for ones that are not in range of an allied base. There we go. And then that should cover us. So we'll just perform them in order. So if we're already carrying one, then just keep trying to drop it off. However, if we are... Actually, if we're already carrying one, we should try and do that as a priority. If we're currently carrying a resource, then try and drop it off. We'll leave if we're being attacked. So that's fine. This one then just becomes try and work out which one we need to... Oh, that wasn't what I wanted to do. Which resource we should try and go and pick up. Cancel that. Let me move all of these up as a group. So there we go. Slide these all up. Donk. Ah, it'll be lovely. It's going to fan out. It's going to be very artistic. So grab the one that's closest to an allied base. The one that is short, medium range, long range, or ultimately the closest one that... In fact, let's just change that. At this point, it just becomes the closest one to me that an ally is not moving to. Because there's no point in me heading towards a resource that someone else is going to grab. How about we make our shotgunner into a dedicated hauler? So all it's going to do is try and gather resources. As long as there's no one there to fight, then it will take care of this. Otherwise, we're probably going to want our allies to take care of this later on. In fact, I hate to double things up, but this will be the fallback. If there's no enemies at this point, then we'll take care of that. But the shotgunner is going to specifically try and gather these resources straight away. That's going to be its new role, if you like. In fact, it's going to be so much nicer if we drop down a connector over here instead. And then we can do something like this. There we go. So that covers the shotgunner's role, which should be to gather resources or drop resources off if it has them. If it was on the way to gather resources, but an enemy moves within long range of it, then we need to deal with that. In fact, we can simplify this check. Instead of checking for all of these ranges, we can check for an enemy that isn't out of range. That makes it a little bit better for us. Okay, now on to the attacking AI. If we are an assault or a machine or a sniper, then they should attack all the way out to long range if they're already attacking it. In fact, we're going to need another connector for this one, since this is going to be our attack system. If it is an assault class, then I would like... Oops, I set that one up wrong. That should be machine gunner. Then that one can attack all the way up to medium. In fact, honestly, probably the shotty as well should do much the same thing. Whatever enemy I was currently attacking, I would like you to keep... Well, I mean, honestly, if it's an enemy I was already attacking, then it's going to just be attack the closest. However... is there a way that we can adjust this at all? Because I want to stop attacking them once they move out of range. For you, it's pretty much attack anything. But for them, it will be attack the closest enemy that is within short or medium range that's being attacked by me. Is there a way we can simplify this, though? So we'll attack anything that is long range, or we'll attack anything that is short or medium range. So we've covered attacking any foes. We've covered gathering things, specifically If we're already holding onto a resource, we'll head and score that as quickly as we can. If we are a shotgunner, then as long as there isn't an enemy that's within range, or if all the enemies are outside of our range, then go ahead and grab whatever. If we're already attacking something, then we will attack them up to a certain range, depending on the class that we are. The machine gunners and the snipers will just continue attacking even out to long range. Now then, in terms of picking targets, this is going to be the more interesting one. So, depending on the class, we assume that we haven't got an enemy, or it's no longer a valid target. We're not attacking anyone right now. We're not carrying a resource right now. We're not a shotgunner who is currently looking for a resource. So what do? We want to approach an enemy. However, I don't want my forces to get split up. So how about the first thing we do is we check if there are any allies nearby. If an ally in short range does not exist, let's say short or medium range does not exist. So if we've gotten split up, then I think we should move within range. Maybe we should even cluster. So we'll stay at short range. So if there is no ally at short range, move towards the nearest ally. Move towards nearest closest ally. Nice and simple. We'll keep our forces clumped together. If there is an ally, so we're at least a pair, then we can proceed. At that point, we want to start checking if there are enemies. Ooh, actually, this is probably going to be a middle one. If there are already enemies at short or medium range, we kind of want to start dealing with them. So, let's see. If there are enemies that exist at short or medium range, then this will be that component. And then after that, we'll start approaching enemies. So if we're not already attacking them, then and we've got an ally nearby, then I would like to move towards the closest enemy. See, the problem here is that there's no easy go to the lowest health enemy who is also at the furthest away from his allies. This is the problem. The selection part I can only do once. I still think closest is probably going to be the better one for us. But yeah, I could separate them based on health. So go towards the weakest one first. In fact, we're going to want a new connector node. Okay, so that'll get us to an enemy it'll just take us in the general direction of the weakest enemy for us to try and wipe out. I could also play around with any. Ooh, actually, another condition, and this one would be an especially nice one. Thinking about it, would be to attack an enemy who happens to be carrying resources. So, move towards an enemy, the closest that is carrying resources. So try and get rid of them if we can. There we are. I think that's going to work well. Okay, so that's our priority. If we don't have any enemies particularly close, we'll just go and try and pick the best enemy based on these criteria. So if it's carrying resources or in order of its healthiness. We'll add in a separate condition in here. If there are no enemies within short to medium range. So we're not engaging. Then advance. So this way, the bots will group initially and then march out to try and find a fight. But if, for example, they're in a pair and one of them dies, the other one isn't going to immediately try and run away to find someone else if it could perhaps still win the fight. Oh, wait. Aha! There was something there that was not the same. There we go. So, with that done then, we've got a attack order, but what priority do we want to attack them? The first thing I want to do is check if attack the weakest health enemy who an ally is attacking. Attacked by an ally. That's the first thing. If an ally is already engaged, join in. If an ally is otherwise, try and attack the weakest shield. At that point, we've already made sure that we've attacked anyone that an ally is attacking. Oh, wait. We've got to make sure that these are within short to medium range. Otherwise, we might try to attack something that our sniper is trying to take on. If we've got one. But let's assume for the moment that we do. Well, there's actually a third condition here that I would want. And that is exactly this one. So, but then we'll change you to also be attack the enemy who is below 25 or 50% shield. Sorry, below 50% shield, I mean to say. This way we'll prioritize trying to take on weakened enemies, then enemies that just have low health, so hopefully we'll be able to break down their shield and then it'll be a much easier kill. If none of those are true, like none have particularly low health, then we'll go for the weakest shield. That seems reasonable. If all things are equal, well, I guess that wouldn't ever get down here. What we could do is refine this even further then. So that one will attack any enemy with below 25% shield. This one will attack any enemy with below 50% shield. And then if it's got more than 50%, then just attack whichever enemy has the weakest shield. And that should be able to get us to take them out. And these are all based on our allies being in the fight as well. This is where it gets tricky, because if we've already designated an attacker and then an ally starts fighting someone nearby, well, assumedly they would have joined in with attacking which enemy we're attacking. So maybe that's not something we have to worry about. Let's move that over a little bit more, so we've got a bit more room with this particular thing, because it is actually starting to get quite large. Right, if there's no ally attacking anyone, then we're free to pick our targets, I suppose, and it'll pretty much be exactly the same as these. More or less in that order as well. That should actually allow us to do quite considerable damage. But wait. Our machine gunner and the sniper will just keep firing at anyone at long range, or they'll switch over here. But we want a condition as well for cases where an enemy is fleeing and has moved out of close range or medium range, but has very, very little health. Because at that point, you may as well just keep unloading on them. Alright, let's try that then. So we're going to want one condition if we're already attacking someone. In fact, let's just copy this condition. There we are. So, if we're attacking them, but their health is below 25%. If they're pretty weak, then just keep attacking. Okay, I think we're about done with the rewrite. Took a little bit of time. No doubt I've missed something. Post in the comments at this point if you think I've missed something. Go on, be brave. And don't edit your comment afterwards. If you think I've been a derp, call me on it. But be prepared, because if I've not been a derp, I'm going to call you out on it. That seems fair to me. I probably have been a derp, though. So let's quickly walk through the AI. I say quickly. This is our fleeing component. If we're being attacked, then if we're a shotgunner and we've lost more or less any shields, or we're being attacked by 2 people, then flee. If we're being attacked by 3 people, flee. If we're a machine gunner and we've got low shield, and we're being attacked by... if enemy lower health and or shield, and there's 2 of them, flee. Or if enemy has a higher health, if one of the enemies there has higher health or shield. If there are 2 enemies there and there's just one of us, then just bail out of it. Even if they are lower health, they're outputting twice as much damage, potentially even more than that. So just try and flee. Okay, and then if we're carrying a resource, then try and score it. If we're a shotgunner and there's no enemies in range, try and grab a resource, giving priority to the ones that are the closest resources to an allied base that isn't already being snagged by a ally. Wonder if there is a way that we could hook these up so that I could just have them come around again. I would much prefer it if we didn't have to have this redundancy in my code. I just don't like it. It doesn't look good. Put this there so I can have a nice straight line. And then I could, I suppose, do away with these. These are the same conditions, aren't they? Yes. And then just draw that straight across. Aha! Perfect! I must say, I approve. Yeah, let's have it a straight line, otherwise it's going to look awful. Right, okay, so yeah. That's nice and easy, I suppose. Right, so with that done then, our shotgunner will go and grab resources. If there's no one to attack, then the others will do that as well. If we're over here and we've got a machine gunner or sniper class and they're currently attacking someone at long range from me and attacked by me, then keep firing until they're basically out of range. Otherwise, pick the lowest health person or anyone that is at medium range. If you're currently attacking someone who is fleeing and they're really low health, actually I should put down they have no shields as well. They're low health and they have no shields, then continue the attack. Otherwise, break that off, because if they've got shields and for some reason they backed up or they're out of range, don't engage. We will try to keep the AI together in little death squad. If there is an enemy at close or medium range, then attack it in this order. Otherwise, go to the nearest resource. Or go for an enemy with move towards an enemy that is trying to grab a resource. Ooh, that's a good point, actually. I should prioritize a resource carrier. Otherwise, select whoever we particularly can. That isn't too much of an issue. There we are. And if we just move towards the weakest enemies, basically. Move towards someone who is carrying a resource. Move towards the closest enemy unit. Actually, what we could do here, we could have a final condition. Thinking about it. And I think I would like to, yes. Let's pop you down there. Slide these around a little bit, making it all tidy-like. We will have a final condition. In the case that an enemy is currently moving toward... closest to a resource. Move towards the closest to a resource enemy that is moving toward that resource. Moving to a resource. So if one is trying to capture a resource, prioritize it and destroy it. Otherwise, just go for the weakest health. Or, you know, if all other things are equal, just go for the closest enemy. I think this is going to be a reasonable AI. I hope. Famous last words. I know. We haven't given any particular sniper condition. Ooh, that's a good point, actually. We do need one of those, don't we? Yes, indeed we do. So it's short, medium range, prioritize like that. At long range, we'll have one priority for attack closest enemy that isn't out of range, that an ally is attacking, and let's see. We could just go for the lowest. No, we can't do that again. Well, weakest health and shield, or just the weakest health that an ally is attacking. Sure, we'll probably wipe out their shield. And following that, as long as it's not out of range, we'll go for attack the closest enemy that is not out of range. That is carrying a resource. Or the closest enemy that is not out of range that is moving toward a resource. And that should give us fairly decent set of priorities. Prioritize? No, I actually do like that pattern. I don't like it enough to replicate it here, mind you, but I do like it. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little. No, that looks silly over there. But that one looks awesome. Right, although I suppose I'd have to do with it. Ah, fine, okay. I guess those of you whose brains were starting to melt, you can rejoice. Awesomeness has died. The world is a little bit poorer now. I actually need to drop it a little bit more than that. No, I don't. Never mind. We're good. And yes, this matters. Matters a lot to me, at the very least. I have to look at this AI. Right. Okay. So we've got priority for anything that's within short or medium range. The sniper can prioritize things at long range, and will go for something that an ally is attacking, or something carrying a resource, or something moving towards a resource. And then finally, we've got the default attack move. So just try to get within range or something. I think we are at long last finished. It has only taken me an hour to write this AI. But it was fun. I liked it at the very least. I hope you did as well. Let's go ahead and check out Chapter 2. And we'll jump straight into a new level. We'll be bold. We're going to be bold about this. Okay, let's have a look at you. You've got 3 assaults and a machine gunner. I'm going to go for machine gun myself. Thank you. No. We want super serious AI here. There we are. And everyone else as well. Super serious AI. There we go. And the assault. Much the same. Oops, no. I will eventually get to having skins. There we are. Super serious AI. We could go with 2 machine gunners, but honestly, I like the idea of just checking out how it handles the different groups. Okay, we're ready to go. Begin. Okay. You get points if you noticed there was something dreadfully wrong there. So, if ally not at short range from me or not at medium range. No. Because this is checking if there is any ally who isn't at short or medium range. Okay. So, what we're going to want then is, or if myself, there we go, distance from closest ally is not short range. Bingo, there we go. So if my distance is not short range, then move towards it. That should fix it. Ah, my lord. Okay, let's see. There we go. Now we're cooking with fire. Why are you heading... Oh, that you're going straight there. Okay, well, that's great. You guys are just going to grab that straight away. And we are now prioritizing some haulers. And you're trying to stick together. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's not so great. Try and avoid it if you can. Oh, you're going for the nearest enemy there. And they are... Why have you changed direction? Oh, because they were being attacked. Okay, well, they've already got a lead on us, unfortunately. Yeah, keep bailing. Alright, why do you keep pulling out of there? Okay, the flight AI is a little bit wonky. So let's go slowly here. Expand this out. You're attacking someone who you're already attacking, that's fine. You can just keep that up, but what are you doing? Why are you getting confused? Is it because you're being targeted by two people? Shouldn't be. Oh, it's because your shield is dropping at all until you're bailing immediately. Okay, we're going to want to adjust that. You shouldn't be bailing quite so aggressively. Okay, well done there. But we aren't doing amazingly here, I've got to be honest. Not as well as I'd hoped, anyway. There we go. We'll take you out. My sniper's doing a good job at picking its targets, though. And we should be able to finish you off. Right, you're generally trying to stick close. Right, my shotgunner can't afford to be the... Ooh. Why are you not engaging? No one is attacked, perhaps? That is rather bizarre behavior. Let's have a quick look. What's happening here, then? You can't attack the closest enemy at long range from me and attacked by me. That's fine. So what's going on over here? You're just trying to approach. Why aren't you attacking? If enemy at short range from closest... Ah. Oops. We needed it to be from me. Oh, what a dip. Okay. Massive points to you if you spotted that one as well. Well done, you. There we go. Sorted. We should be alright now. I hope. But I'm thinking... Yeah, we're being way too aggressive with bailing here, I think. I mean, the shotgunner should really try to focus on gathering resources. So I'm going to say that the shotgunner is not going to abandon its job unless... not at long range from me or not out of range. So basically I'm now saying if there's an enemy this close. If the enemy at short range or medium range from me does not exist, then carry on your work. Yeah, that'll do for me, I think. So the shotgunner should be able to continue gathering resources. I'm going to let it bail out when its shield gets low because it is quite weak. Right. Let's speed things up. There we are, good. The machine gunner is deciding to engage. The problem is, you're going to try and hover around a sniper. That isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. If the sniper is the only thing left, but you'll never be able to attack at that point. Ooh, you've decided to go and engage what the shotgunner was deciding to try and attack. Never mind. Well done. Come on, try and get in there if you can. Oh, go, go. Grab it. No, you're never going to do it. A little bit cumbersome, but alright. What are you attacking now? Okay, they are quite weak, so that makes sense. Why are you bailing? Couldn't quite tell why you were trying to get out of there, but sure. Really? Why are you not trying to stop that there? Oh, it's because you were carrying a resource. Makes sense. You didn't have to stop, so... This is not optimal, certainly. But... room for improvement. I'm quite happy with what we've managed to do with the AI at the very least. I think it's a pretty awesome AI as a start. And we're just going to continue to refine it. But that's really all the time I've got for this episode. Already over an hour. My goodness, time flies when you're having fun. Right, so in the next episode, we're going to be doing more of the same, really. Iterating over the AI, improving it where we see obvious mistakes. But I think we'll just see how far this one can take us before it fails, before we really start tweaking it. Outside of any really glaringly dumb stuff that it does. I really do hope you've enjoyed the episode, though, and will be joining me for the next. But until then, and as always, do take care, everyone.